Hi friends. Now today I'll talk about a component which I feel contributes to success majorly but often is not talked about. The component that I'm going to talk about today is called as optimism. What do we mean by optimism? Optimism means to be positive about what you're doing and to be hopeful and positive about the outcome. If you're very positive about that, okay, this is what I'm doing is going to yield results, that is called as positive optimism. Now, in my entire life, in my entire career, I have always seen people, my batchmates, my juniors, my friends, I've always seen people who are more optimistic. They tend to do better than the people who are more pessimistic about their future. Now, why does this happen is probably we can explain it very simply. If I'm optimistic about my future, I tend to do, if I'm hopeful that I'm going to win, I tend to put in more hard work, as simple as that. I tend to be more persistent. If I'm already negative about the outcome, if I'm pessimistic, I'm thinking the outcome is going to be negative, and there would be obstacles in the way. The life is not simple. There will be ups and downs. As soon as the first obstacle hits me, I'm already pessimistic about it. I may not persist. And it would not be rocket science for you to understand that people who persist are the people who win. So optimism has that value to play in your life. Now, optimist people, they another reason why they succeed is they are able to objectively analyze the problem and see where it's stands in the bigger picture of their life. Let me explain to you. Now, suppose you are preparing for your exam right now and you have one day which does not go well. One day you waste a lot of time. Maybe there is no electricity, maybe there is some noisy function going on in the surrounding, and you are not able to study for one day. An optimistic person, when he looks at this, he says, it is just one day which is lost. Everything is left. I have 364 more days to win it. I'll be able to do it. An optimistic person says it is just okay, a matter of few hours. I will be able to do better in the others and I'll be able to cope up. A pessimist says he goes into a negative loop because today I could not study, my entire day got lost. That means my entire preparation cycle will go haywire. Now I will not get time to study any longer. And he ends up thinking, imagining that because of these few hours that I've lost, I will lose out on the entire, in my exam also, I will not pass. So you have to understand the loops. If you are optimistic about things, you tend to go into a positive loop. You put in more effort, you enjoy putting it because you're very optimistic about the outcome. You want that, okay, I'm likely that I'm going to win. You put more effort, you persist for longer, versus a pessimist who looks at a problem which is like a few hours of a power breakdown would not really affect your long term success in the exam, but he kind of imagines it and he puts in more hours thinking about what loss has happened because of this entire 2 hour 3 hour power breakdown, and he ends up wasting more and more time over it. It's very important to be optimistic, but then there is a line to be drawn somewhere. So to be optimistic versus being foolhardy, there is a thin line between them as well. Now, if I tomorrow I say that I am optimistic that I am win a lottery and I'm buying a lottery every day, probably that will be foolhardy. So you have to know the rationale in, you need to have that logic. You need to know that you have to be optimistic about things that you're doing. That is very good idea. You have to be optimistic about the outcome of the work that you're putting in, but you have to be, you can't be you can't convert this optimism into foolhardiness. That if you consider that as a bit of rider, in toto, in my entire career of my mentoring lakhs of students, I've always seen optimism always wins. So you have to now, but how to become optimistic is start looking for the silver lining. Start thinking about things that would excite you. Start thinking about that, what would you do in future that would make that would get that fire inside you going, that would stimulate you to work harder. You have to keep that positive visualization on. Keep that positive visualization about future, about what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Keep thinking about things and the targets. If you achieve them, how excited would you be? Try to imagine, do that visualization all the time. That will create optimism in you. Optimism will create that positive cycle, will help you for persist longer in the battle. And people who persist, people who enjoy, people who are positive about it tend to win big in life. I wish you all the best.